Hey, I've got a super crafty idea for you today. I'm Summer Hammonds with hammondsnest.com. Thanks for hanging out with me. Okay, so I'm using this unfinished project board that I picked up at Walmart. I've got some beautiful tissue paper from Hobby Lobby, and then I'm using some Mod Podge. And what I'm doing is I am going to decoupage this tissue paper directly on top of this it looks like it's made from pallets, but it's a really beautiful rustic weathered kind of wood. And we're going to work with that a little bit. So my whole project is rustic. So the steps that I'm taking to achieve that, this little stain look that it has going on will work perfectly. So after I've adhered down the tissue paper with the Mod Podge, I'm just using some sandpaper to score the edges of the tissue paper to get it to have a clean edge there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge again to seal it. And we're not finished with this yet, but we are going to set that to the side, let that dry, and pull out these caps that I picked up at Walmart too. They're made by Plaid, and you can find them just like on the unfinished craft section next to where you would find that wooden sign or board. And then I'm going to take those 4 caps that I pulled out of the package and use some white chalk paint. I'm using the Folk Art Decor chalk line there, and I'm going to give those a nice little paint makeover. Now, the cap packaging, just in case you're curious and you want to give this one a try, it comes with 8. It comes with 4 smaller ones and 4 larger ones, and for this particular project I am using the larger one. And the wood piece that I'm using is a 12 by 12 inch, so if that gives you some idea. All right, once those are all nice and dry, we're actually going to pull out the same sandpaper that we used to score our tissue paper on the edges of our board, and we're going to give these a little distressing. It goes better with my style, you see the difference there. And then once these are all distressed and we have them to our liking, we'll set those to the side, and we're going to pull back out our big wood piece and get to work on the few details that I want to kind of set the whole vibe and style that I hope to achieve. I need to give it a little bit more attention. So I'm removing the hardware that came on the back of this, the rope and stuff, then I'm going to flip it back over. And what we're going to do is we're going to take an electric sander. Yes, an electric sander. I'm not sure you knew that you could sand. It might not work with all things that you could decoupage. Some of the thicker pieces of paper and tissues and stuff like that might not do as well with this, but the tissue paper and fine decoupaging paper works fantastic. So I'm just running this electric sander. I'm giving it a weathered, rustic, vintage kind of look, and I really, really like it. I'm going to give you a close-up shot here in a minute before we move on to the next step. All right, before I give you that close-up shot, I'm taking an X-Acto knife, and because this looked like it was pallets and I really liked that planked look, I just took my knife and ran it along to break that tissue paper up so that I wouldn't lose that planked look, and it worked fantastic. It's kind of an experimental thing, but you know how that goes. So here's that close-up look I promised you. Look how beautiful. Okay, so we're going to keep going. After we've kind of got that all done the way we want, we like the look, I'm just going to go ahead and seal it one more time because I ran that electric sander over it. You know, extra coats of sealer sure doesn't hurt anything, especially when you want to use it in home decor. So once that is all the way dry, the last step will be to take your cute little wooden caps that we're using as feet and your wood board, flip it over. I'm using some hot glue. I'm using some E6000 industrial glue, and I'm just going to put a little industrial glue because that is going to slow set. I use this technique a lot. It has never failed me. So I use E6000 to slow set, and I use a little bit of hot glue so it'll quick set. So like, instead of using a clamp or trying to make sure that you don't budge your project at all, that hot glue holds it in place really quickly and sets. And then it lets your E6000 or whatever type of industrial glue you choose to use, it lets it do its thing and set up. So I'm just nudging these out to the corner here. Again, my board that I picked up from Walmart is 12 by 12 inches, and these are the caps, the larger caps that come in the Plaid package. So that's what this looks like, to give you some idea of the proportions in case you want to try to make something similar. And once you have your little feet, little caps in place, and you've let it dry thoroughly, you can style it, you can stage it in your home. And this goes with my style, though I think there would be so many different things that would look amazing. Paint it, choose different tissue paper, whatever. But if you give this a try, you know I'll always like to ask, I'd love to see it. I appreciate your time watching today, and I hope you come back soon for more creative ideas. Bye, y'all.